listening to The Edward Fowler Show. Now, here's your host, Edward Fowler.
This is a flashback episode featuring Chris Van Vliet, who I interviewed back in June of 2019. You'll be able to tell the differences from my voice back then when I first began to how it is today. I hope you enjoy it. He interviews famous people like Tom Cruise and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and many other great celebrities. And this was recorded way before a pandemic which shut down the whole country. Who knew a year later what we'll be facing at the time? But enjoy it in full right now. Please welcome my guest. He doesn't need no introduction because, of course, he's a 4-time Emmy Award winning broadcaster. You know, he works for a great station in Florida. And tell me if I'm wrong, but is it owned by Fox? Because if it's owned by Fox, then it's even more. I love Fox. You know, I love the craziness of Fox News and, you know, the traffic chases in the Fox area. So it's great. I love that you work for Fox, if you do. But you can tell me more about that in a moment. But he also has his own YouTube channel called Chris Van Vliet. I hope that's how you pronounce your name. And it's got over 160k subscribers, maybe even 170 now as we speak of this, but a lot of subscribers anyway. But please welcome Chris Van Vliet. Welcome to my show.
Ed, thanks for having me on, all the way across the pond here.
Yes, in the greatest city in the world. Not London, Manchester.
Manchester's the greatest city in the world?
Yes, better than Florida, better than Las Vegas for, you know, AEW, boo them. But... you know, you have to come to the greatest city because you got to feel the atmosphere. You got to feel the rowdy of the fans because we are very passionate and we are very rowdy.
I will have to make it there, but I will have to argue with you. Being from Toronto, I will say that Toronto is the greatest city on earth.
Yes, okay, I agree with that. But again, I've never been to Toronto, so I can't say.
And I've never been to Manchester, so neither of us can be wrong.
Yes, it's a great to start this off, isn't it? But of course, you came from Canada, a Canadian. No wonder you get along with Chris Jericho so well. You know, with your Canadian discussions. Did you speak French when you finished the interview?
Yeah, so I speak high school French, which is like, you know, I can speak maybe 17 words of French, and that's about it. I can ask where the bathroom is. Où est la salle de bain?
Oh, I like it.
That's about it. So, next time I see Jericho, I'll ask how much French he speaks.
Yeah, please do. But I bet he doesn't speak much French anymore. But you never know. In Winnipeg, they might speak a lot of it, even though, Winnipeg is a big jerk, isn't he, from Winnipeg. It could come from Toronto, where you're from. I mean, much better, it's like Winnipeg,
There's not much to do in Winnipeg, so
exactly.
Maybe he spent his time there, learning how to speak French.
Yeah, but enough of Chris Jericho, but more about you. You went to university to do journalist, and then you did some jobs in Canada before you moved to Florida. And why move to Florida? Like, was that your big dream to move to America, or was it the best opportunity to be in Florida?
I mean, Florida wasn't specifically the goal, but I knew that there'd be way more opportunities being in the U.S. I love Canada. All my friends and family are still there. And I had some incredible opportunities there for the first 5 years of my career. Mm-hmm. But, the ceiling's only so high there. The population's only so big. There's only so many big cities, only so much of a population. So I got an agent, a television agent in the U.S. And when I started looking for jobs in the U.S., I was auditioning for all kinds of big shows, like on MTV or Entertainment Tonight, Extra, all these big shows. I just knew that there were more opportunities in the States.
Yeah.
So I moved to Cleveland first, of course, home of The Miz and Dolph Zigger.
Yes, the worst city to go to, I have to say. I've never been, but the fans are so gullible there, If I ever came to Cleveland, I'll make sure I miss the city completely. I'll go straight past Cleveland and say goodbye and move on to the next state near there.
Cleveland was a great place. I had a fun time there. I got to, hang out with The Miz and Ziggler when I was there.
Of course, The Miz, because he thinks he's the biggest star there, but you are much bigger than him.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
you are. You are. You're much better than the Miz. You are.
The Miz is born and raised in Cleveland. I just spent a mere 5 years there. But then, this great opportunity came to host this show in Florida, and it's on the Fox station here, but it's like the Fox, like the local Fox station.
Yes,
so we're
I
talking
love the local
like
Fox stations. I do. I love them. Because I'm hoping your show does not get interrupted by the police chases. Like, I know.
We had one yesterday.
Did ya? Oh, God.
Yeah. It was fantastic, going right through Fort Lauderdale while I live here.
Wow.
I turn on the TV, I'm like, oh, that's like 2 minutes from my house. That is classic American television. They would never do that in Canada. I imagine they don't do that in the UK.
Or even here.
Yeah.
I always say to my friends, I wish they showed the police chases over here. It could be fantastic. Because I love watching them in America. You get to see lovely scenery, see what people are up to on their normal lives. It's fantastic. I love them. I watch them every day. When there's one, I get the alerts on my phone when there's one. I like to watch them.
They have the helicopter up there, like actually looking for these chases. Like
Really? Oh, wow.
I mean, they happen in California all the time.
Yeah,
all
every
the time
day.
in California.
Every day. Fox LA News, I watch them every day. It's at least one every day there.
But so the Fox I'm on is more like Empire and American Idol and the World Series and football.
Yes.
Fox News is a completely different station with all that other stuff going on there.
Of course. And you mentioned about your station, and what is the name of your show you're on in your local Florida station?
It's called Deco Drive, and it's a local entertainment show where I interview celebrities, go to red carpets, talk about local events. Like the segment that's going to air today was a segment where I went out to the Miami Marlins, the baseball team here, and I tried out for the team.
Ooh. How'd that
go? I think a lot of people know me for my YouTube interviews. Obviously, I'm a passionate, lifelong wrestling fan, but I'm also a professional broadcaster.
Yes. Yes, you are.
And I've been in broadcasting for 15 years, and that's kind of actually what led into me being able to do the interviews, have the access, and have the YouTube channel that I have now.
Nice. Well, again, and that's why I want you on my show, because to talk about your other stuff you do, not just wrestling, but because I like to talk about wrestling as well, and I want to talk about wrestling with you and talk about what else you do, your other project you do, because you're a very busy man, And I was saying before we came on the air here that I was not expecting you to respond to my DM, because I wrote it, and then I wrote a tweet to you as well, because you have seen my tweets, because I know you like them. Before I actually DM'd you, and I thought, okay, let me try this and see what happens. And I was quite shocked that you said to come on my show. I know you mentioned that on another podcast. I heard you on another podcast that said the same thing I'm saying. So I thank you for coming on here, and it's a privilege that you're on here. So you good to Deco Drive, a very unique name, because you wouldn't have that name over here. But and you
only in Miami.
Yeah, only in Miami. The best, the best place for beaches and bikini ladies. So yeah, best place to be to go on holiday. But you mentioned about going to red carpets and you get to interview fantastic celebrities. And my question for you now is, who has been your favorite celebrity to interview so far for Deco Drive?
So it was someone that was on my list for a long time.
Let me guess. Let's say maybe an eyebrow-raising guy?
Maybe. Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, grew up being a wrestling fan. The Attitude Era meant so much to me. I was 15, 16, 17 years old during the height of the Attitude Era. So, The Rock meant a lot to me. And I think The Rock's charisma and his personality really shaped who I became in those formidable years. So I was walking around my high school raising the people's eyebrow, yelling, "It doesn't matter," at anybody and everybody who would listen to me. So Rock was always at the top of my list, and Rock does a lot of interviews because he promotes a lot of movies.
Yes, he's in a lot of movies. The biggest movie star in the world, I think, isn't he?
It's certainly arguably, yeah. I mean, so the fact that he was on my list, he was doing a lot of press, and I just was like, I think this is going to happen one day. And he was doing promotion for like G.I. Joe. He was doing promotion for Fast and Furious, and I wasn't getting him. And I was like, I wonder if this isn't going to happen now. And then it finally happened actually in a wrestling setting. It happened backstage, Monday Night Raw. He was promoting his match with Cena, WrestleMania 28 in Cleveland. He was promoting it. And I'm like, this is the best of all worlds. I get to talk to The Rock. I get to talk to The Rock in a wrestling scenario.
Yeah.
And he's everything you'd want him to be.
Yes.
He's charismatic. He's fun. He's funny. He makes you feel special. And
it's good.
That's a real celebrity trait for someone to take time out of their day, take 2-3 seconds, 2-3 minutes, whatever it happens to be, and make you feel special. That's something I'll never forget. Now I've interviewed The Rock 9 times. Not that I'm counting.
I'm sure he is. And I bet he's got like little selfies with him on this wall somewhere in this house as well.
Only one.
Only one. It means he does. It means he doesn't admit he has. At least he's got one. Okay, I see. But yes. Have you ever done like a promo on The Rock yet, or are you a bit afraid in case they might give you? It doesn't matter what you think.
I actually asked The Rock to team me up for It Doesn't Matter, and it was a pretty great moment. I was talking about Fast and Furious. I said, a lot of times Hobbs, your character, sounds a lot like The Rock. Like he has a lot of the same mannerisms, same voice. And I said, can you set up a scenario where Hobbs would say it doesn't matter? And he's like, well, I don't know. Give me the scenario. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. So we're driving down the street. It's like, it doesn't matter what the scenario is.
I remember that. I saw on your YouTube channel. I remember that. Yeah. And that was that was hilarious. That was hilarious. I loved that. It was like the most hilarious thing to go out of your mouth. I don't think you expected them to.
No. That's the whole thing about that bit is you're not expecting it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can never, as you say, never expect the unexpected.
Well, I think. If I went in there and he's like, sure, I'll do it for you right now, it wouldn't have been as fun.
Yeah, definitely. But apart from The Rock, who else has been your favorite to interview for Deco Drive or your YouTube channel?
After I got The Rock, the next on my list was Tom Cruise. Mm-hmm. And I've always heard so many great things about him. He, would arguably be one of the other big movie stars in the world. Like, absolutely. It's such a different way how we watch movies now. We watch them more for like the story or the plot, rather than the actors like we used to 10, 20, 30 years ago. So it was just like The Rock, best case scenario possible. I interviewed Tom Cruise in Paris on the red carpet for Mission Impossible 6 in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, wow. That's a good shot. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, and he was so gracious and so nice and so kind. And I loved that movie too. So the next on my list, because you got to keep pressing forward. You got to keep making these specific goals for yourself. I always say vague goals get vague results. So if I were to be like, hey, I want to interview, just a big star, that's very vague. So my next goal is Vince McMahon.
Yes.
That's the next one I want to do an interview with, and I don't know. I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm going to keep putting it out there and keep hoping it happens.
Yeah, well, I think it will happen because, that guy, another podcaster, let me think of his name, Peter Rosenberg, whoever he is, because I didn't really know who he was until I seen a YouTube video from like 10 years ago now of him interviewing Vince McMahon himself, and he was cheeky enough to say to him, can I have a job with you? And he said, yeah, come to my office and talk to me. That's how he ended up in WWE all these years later. So it could happen to you, and I really hope it does because you're not getting any younger, but you are looking good for your age. And I hope that Vince McMahon, I'm sure Vince McMahon knows who you are. You're a very popular guy, and I'm sure you can get an interview with him anytime. Just go to his office, probably.
Yeah, I'll just fly up to Stamford and just knock on his door and make it happen.
Yeah. Well, of course, not that simple, but I mean. Something like that. You could get in contact with somebody from there. Maybe even Dolph Zigger could help you. There you go.
Maybe. I mean, and who knows? After today, he might be the WWE champion.
Yeah. Of course.
I highly doubt that, but it's possible.
Yeah, I don't think he will. Or else, I don't think he will, but you never know. Anything is possible. But of course, we're talking about this because it's June 7th when we're taping this. Of course, today is Saudi Arabia's biggest event of the year, Super Showdown in Jeddah, and you guys got the bad time zone for that event because it happened at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. our time. For once, we can actually was it live for once because normally we're asleep when the events happen. So
yeah, you guys, I feel bad for your time zone. Yeah, you got to watch. Like, what time does WrestleMania end for you? Like 6 in the morning?
somewhere like that. Yeah, about 5 a.m. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. All Elite Wrestling, that's like at midnight for the pre-show over here at midnight our time, and it ended about 4 a.m. in the morning. So, available now on Fight TV. I have to plug that, even though I have nothing to do with Fight TV. But you never know. Your contacts may listen to it. I think, who this guy? You never know. But again, it was on ITV box office. Great event. You were there in attendance, of course, because I DM'd you on the day of that show. You were there in attendance. Great show it was. I loved it. Of course, MJF and Brian Pillman Jr. from Major League Wrestling, which I'm very aware of who they are because I've had at least one person from there so far on this show. Yes, it's good. But did you enjoy Double or Nothing, and how are your relationships with All Elite? Because I was expecting you to be announced as like a backstage reporter or something, because I know you work for a wrestling company in your local area as a ring announcer. So I was expecting you to be called up to be the ring announcer or something.
Well, look at you doing your research. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. And there's no scripts either. People don't understand. There's no scripts. All my questions are in my head beforehand.
Wow.
So thank you. Yeah.
Look at you go. Wow. For me, I really love Double or Nothing. And I knew that for better or for worse, whether this was the best pay-per-view, the worst, or somewhere in between, this was going to change the landscape of wrestling forever, or at least for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years or whatever. The buzz in that arena was unbelievable. That was a pretty incredible, crazy atmosphere in there. And that was like, I like to compare it to the Raw after WrestleMania, because these were hardcore fans. These were fans that traveled in. I mean, there weren't a lot of locals there, I wouldn't think. So these were educated fans, these were smart fans, and these were hungry fans. And from the very first match, which was the very first match all the way to the end, the crowd was so hot, so into it. There wasn't really a bad match on that card. Sure, there were some technical hiccups, which there will be for your first show. But once they iron those out, boy, this is going to be some exciting stuff to watch.
Yes, it will be. And I can't wait to see it on ITV for once as well. And, it's a major TV network over here, and the home of World of Sports. And now we've got All Elite Wrestling on it, which was a bit surprising. I thought it might be on BT Sport or something. But ITV, the main network, which is good. But yeah, will we see you a part of this company anytime soon? Because did you even get approached to be a part of it or not? Because
I mean, I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. I'm in contact with the Vince McMahon of AEW.
Yes, you are. Yes, Tony Khan. Yeah, I saw your interview.
I saw Tony after the show, and he gave me a big hug, and I said, "Congratulations! Like, you changed the game here." And he's like, "Thank you so much, man. That means so much to me." He was jacked up and excited. Look, they've hired their people. They've hired their broadcast team. They're doing a great job. I'm friends with Alicia A, who's also a fellow YouTuber that does interviews. She's doing a great job for them. So they don't really have a place for me. And I'm under contract here in Miami for a while. So I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I love being part of the wrestling world in the way that I'm a part of it. I'm a fan, just like you, just like anybody listening to this.
Yes.
And I just kind of went out of my way to kind of create some opportunities for myself. And use the contacts that I had, or kind of break down some doors, knock on some doors, jam my foot in some doors to make some more contacts and make myself available for these interviews. So I've just I've created this for myself. It would be an interesting situation if I worked for any of the major companies, because I don't know if I'd be able to even do what we're doing right now. I don't know.
Probably not, because you probably say unless you got permission from them. Through them, then nope.
Right.
Kind of thing.
See, when you send me a DM and go, "Do you want to come on my show?" I can just go, "Yeah, I do." Yeah. Rather than going, "Let me ask first. Can I do this? What's it about?" And like right now, I'm my own boss.
Yeah, you're freelance. You're a freelance guy, and it's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
And the best part about that too is, I'm a fan of all wrestling. I'm not an AEW guy. I'm not a WWE guy. TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, whatever. I'm a wrestling guy. So when I talk to someone, I don't have a bias.
No.
If I'm talking to a WWE guy, we can jump into WWE stuff. And I'm not going to trash WWE or love WWE. I just love wrestling. So there's no bias there. And I think that that's a big difference when you see my interviews versus other people who work for these major companies.
Yes.
I don't know the last time that, a Sam Roberts or Rosenberg was able to have an AEW guy. I don't know. We all know now that Jericho can't have WWE guys.
Yes.
So I'm kind of floating in this middle zone where it's the best of all worlds.
Yes, you're really looking for it this minute, but again, it could all change because you never know what might happen around the corner. But, so I wish luck, because I know next week you're interviewing Dave Batista. God knows how you did that. And then actually get responses from him on Twitter as well, because usually these big time celebs that we respond to people on Twitter before they meet him, you know, kind of thing. And after the interview, then they, you know, start to say, oh, yes, I was on this guy's interview, kind of thing. But I like the banter between you and Dave Batista on Twitter. What you expect a response from him?
So then that was pretty cool. I got to be honest. Like he cut a Twitter promo on me.
Yes.
I don't mark out for a lot, but I marked out for that. I basically just said, "Hey, I'm excited to interview him.
Yeah,
Do you have any questions for him?"
Yeah.
And then he wrote back to me, and I wrote back to him after that. He wrote to me and said, "No, they gave me what I want. I'm interviewing you and blah, blah." And I said, all right, well, I'll see you in LA. You bring the nose ring. I'll bring the pliers.
Yes, well, I can't wait to see that on your YouTube channel. If it's going to go on your YouTube channel. Is it for Deco?
Oh, yeah, of course. It's for both, actually. So he's promoting his new movie, Stuber. I'm very excited to talk to him. I've only interviewed him once. Well, I've interviewed him twice for one movie. I interviewed him for James Bond movie Spectre.
Nice, yes.
I interviewed him in Mexico City like 3 or 4 years ago. It was a really cool moment because these interviews with celebrities like that, like on that level, like Rock or Cena or Batista, they're much shorter. Or even movie stars, like I've interviewed DiCaprio or Oprah or Sandra Bullock or whatever. The list goes on. Yeah, they're usually short. Yeah. So the interview I did with Batista last time was supposed to be 4 minutes. And we were getting right up close to that 4-minute threshold. Mm-hmm. And I went to ask a question. And the person in the room who was like his handler went, "I'm sorry, Chris, your interview's done."
How?
And Dave, just without even looking at the guy, just kind of looked over his shoulder and went, "He has time for one more." And I was like, "Oh, my God, Dave, thank you so much." And then I saw him the next day on the red carpet. I said, "Dave, thank you so much for putting me over. I was super grateful for that."
Yeah.
Like, of course, man. I love talking about wrestling. So I hope that's the same situation when I talk to him on Friday.
I'm sure it will be, and I'm hoping you may get a bit longer as well with him. Hopefully, you know, for your YouTube channel.
I've requested more time. I also requested to get him like kind of on my own, and they're like, "No, he's going to be in this room, but we'll give you a double time. So I'll get 8 minutes with him."
Oh, well, that's better than nothing. So yeah,
better than nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I hope you got some good questions to ask him there, because he might Batista bomb you otherwise, and
that'd be a great video too.
Well, depending who watches it, yeah. But I mean, if people are a fan of you, then they might think, "Oh no, poor Chris. I hope he's okay," kind of thing.
I've taken some moves.
Yes.
If you go on my YouTube channel, I took a DDT from Gangrel very, very poorly.
Yeah, look,
I didn't just go in and go, "Hey, Gangrel, give me a DDT." Like, I've been to wrestling school. I trained for a couple months. I was in there with Gangrel, locking up, taking some bombs, doing some hip tosses. And I said, "It would be an honor if you gave me the Impaler DDT." And he's like, "Oh, okay, sure." Gangrel is one of the nicest, sweetest people you'll ever meet. And he's like, "Yeah, okay, sure." So we turned the camera on, and I jumped a little too high, and I spiked my head. And
yeah, well, I'm glad
I haven't told him this, but my neck still hurts. That was a year and a half ago.
Oh God, I was gonna say, I'm surprised you had much neck damage, because the way you landed, I thought you broke your neck or something when I watched video a few years ago.
It was bad. I really learned a lesson there.
Yes, don't ask it for it again. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe take bumps on my back, not on my head.
Yeah. Again, great guy this is. And speaking of your YouTube channel, what got you started to doing your YouTube channel? Because you already this guy on TV, you know, this great journalist, this great entertainer journalist. But what made you start your YouTube channel?
It kind of happened by accident. Like, I had a very, very small YouTube channel where I was just on occasion putting up some interviews, just because I knew that when we put it on TV, the thing about TV is it goes on TV once and that's it. It's, gone forever. If you didn't watch it in that moment, you didn't see it. So I was doing these interviews with wrestlers, and there was a couple of other YouTubers doing this at the time, and where they were putting up these longer form interviews. And I'm like, well, I'm doing those. So instead of just the 15, 20 seconds that we're going to air on TV for like the main audience, they're not wrestling fans. They want to talk, they want to hear about like some generic stuff.
Of course.
So I was like, well, I might as well put the remaining 10, 15, 20 minutes of this interview online just so that it's out there, so that fans like you can see it, or, anyone else.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of throwing these up. My YouTube channel had like 4 subscribers, and I would just put these up just so it would live somewhere, just so that other wrestling fans could appreciate this. And I did an interview with The Miz in 2011, right after CM Punk had dropped the pipe bomb. And Miz said that it was the most exciting time to be a wrestling fan since the Attitude Era. And I went, oh, that's pretty cool. And I put that up on my YouTube channel. Didn't really think anything of it because I didn't have any subscribers. And the next day I woke up and there were 6,000 views on this video.
Wow.
And I went, wow, that's never happened before. And then the next day I had 36,000 views.
Wow.
And someone had shared this video on a blog, and then it ended up getting put on all the dirt sheets. And I'm like, I think I'm onto something. So it was kind of accidental that it was just like whenever I had the chance to interview a wrestler, I would put the little bit on air on TV that we could, and then I would put the remainder, the raw, full interview, flubs and all, because I don't cut my interviews. I just go start to finish, put the whole thing up.
Why not? And that's what I like about you, because other YouTubers and podcasters who do interviews like these, they like to edit them, and they like to, let's cut that bit out. We don't need to know about this. Or, when, for example, as well, like when you had MJF on your show, who was the worst guest ever, I have to say, the worst person in the world, okay? And I even said, he is not the face of pro wrestling at all. Ace Austin is the face of that pro wrestling, okay? And, but anyway, he decided to order, you know about it, you were there live, but, he ordered a room service while you joined the interview. Now, you could have just cut that out of the interview and posted it on YouTube, but you decided, let's see what the people think about this. And I liked it even more when it was included, but it made it even more fun.
Look, and I did the same thing with the Cody Rhodes interview.
Yeah.
His phone kept dinging during the interview, and he goes, let's see who this is. And then we spent 2 minutes looking for his phone. I kept it in there because we're humans.
Yes.
And humans do these things. And the thing I realized early on in my broadcasting career is the thing that's most important to you might be different from what's most important to me, which is different from anyone else that's maybe listening to this. So if I'm going to put up a 20, 30, 40-minute interview, and I think this is the most important part, you may take out from it something completely different. So I don't want to be the one telling you what's most important. I want to put it all out there, and you can make the decisions for yourself.
Of course. And I do like it as well. And the way I like how you do it. And as you say,
well, thank you.
It's more about a conversation between two people more than an interview. And
that's what it is. The channel may bear my name, but the channel is not about me.
No.
Ever.
But this is hopefully.
Yeah. I just like to, I ask questions that I'm genuinely interested in knowing the answer to. And then I ask them, and I sit back and I listen. And then I don't just move on to the next question. I think about, like, where can the conversation go from here? Yes. Did you say something interesting that we can kind of, talk about or move, into that vein that you're talking about? So I've always just been an inquisitive person, and that led me into a career in journalism and broadcasting, and it just kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And again, I don't know if you listened to any of my shows before, but if you did, you may notice that I might have stole your bit of your thing as you do on your channel, because a lot of people say to me that my show is more interactive, and they say it's more interesting because I have no questions, as you can see. I'm not reading up any scripts or anything like that, and they say it's more better because apparently more of these genetic ones are more boring, and yes, typical questions the same and things like that. And the people like about my show is because I listen to the person, and then I decide to go and ask more questions about what they just said to that other question, and we just go like that. So it's great. We just go off the script of whatever script it was, because I didn't have one to begin with.
The difference here is, Ed, you do your research, and yes. I think that you can't have a conversation without any sort of guidance.
No,
it's like getting in a car and not knowing where you're driving to. It's the fact that you read up on your guests and you do your research and you know what you're talking about. That definitely works in your favor.
Yes. Well, I thank you for that. And I hope you will be coming back on here again, hopefully at some point, if you enjoyed yourself here. But
sure.
I have to say as well, because people might ask me, well, how did you start to get these big time people on your show? And what was your technique to get in touch with these kind of big people?
Well, having this background in broadcasting, that obviously opened the door. Like,
of course.
I've always said to people, you need to present, whenever you're asking someone to be on your show, podcast, YouTube channel, whatever it happens to be, you have to show them what's in it for them. You have to present the value for them. So for me, the value was I was on TV, and I was able to, give that audience. So that's really how it began. is like, we'll put your Raw, SmackDown, Impact, Ring of Honor, whatever it happens to be, is coming to Cleveland or Toronto when I was living there, or Miami now. We can promote the show on our channel. And that was the first thing. And then kind of from there, and like now that my YouTube channel has this very dedicated audience of wrestling fans, it's kind of a no-brainer, but it took a long time to build up those relationships. It was a mutual friend that got me in touch with Chris Jericho and said, hey, you've got to talk to this guy. Then it was through Chris Jericho that I got to Tony Khan, because Jericho's like, I had such a good time on his show. It has something like 750,000 views.
Very well done, because you asked the right questions, and that's made it enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And then he reached out to Tony Khan and said, Tony, you've got to do an interview with Chris. Then out of nowhere, I get a text from Tony Khan saying, hey, Chris Jericho said some really nice things about you. I'd love to have an interview with you. And I'm like, okay, yes. Yes. So it's kind of just been, it's hard work, it's dedication, and it's putting it all together and making it happen.
Exactly. And it's been a pleasure having you on the show, but I can't let you go yet, because there's another thing I want you to promote here as well. Your YouTube channel, of course, is Chris Van Vliet. If you haven't already subscribed, or you've been living under a rock for the past, 5 years or so, you need to check him out, because he's done some amazing interviews with Chris Jericho, with Tony Khan, with Cody Rhodes, with, and Dolph Zigger, of all people. But again, you've also got your own T-shirt line, don't you, as well?
Yeah, I should have probably worn one here. I'm wearing collar and elbow instead. Those shirts are great.
Yeah. There you can see it, and that'll be on YouTube. So please check it out on YouTube.com when we upload this. It'll be on my channel, that's Edward Fowler on YouTube. But yeah, so what is your own T-shirt line, and how can people find it?
Look, I just figure, I'm wearing something during these interviews. The collar and elbow shirts are great, and I love them. And it's Al Snow's company, and Al Snow's an awesome dude. But I just figured if I have a 20, 30, 40-minute interview and you're just, staring at my clothes and my guest clothes for the whole time, I might as well do what all the other wrestlers are doing in this space. I might as well have some merch.
Yes.
So created a couple shirts. One of them, means a lot to me. It's the phrase, vague goals get vague results. And I'm such a big believer in that if you don't set specific goals for yourself, you're never going to get anywhere. So for this year, I'm not like a big New Year's resolution guy, but at the start of this year, I said, all right, we've got from now until December 31st, and I want to set some specific goals. So I said, I want to do 50 wrestling interviews this year, and I want to get to 200,000 subscribers. And here we are, it's June. I just uploaded interview number 41 today, and we're at 167,000 subscribers. So it's great to be able to look at that at the start of the year and kind of chip away at it as you go.
Yes.
And that's been my plan. And that phrase has, redefined my life. It's actually, I don't know if you can read that, but it's hanging up there. Oh, above my many Emmys here.
Yes, your many Emmys, which you won the Emmy Award winning broadcaster, the best one ever, I think.
We got the YouTube play button, which actually meant a lot to me, because that was because of everybody else. I had nothing to do with that. That's because people happen to tune in.
Yes, and they enjoy your content. This is the main thing.
Yeah, so that means a lot to me. So yeah, my merch is out there. You can find it either through my website, which is chrisvanvliet.tv. It's in the description of all my videos. It's on Pro Wrestling Tees. It's everywhere.
There you go. Nice plug.
If I ever see someone wearing a Chris Van Vliet T-shirt, I'm going to give you such a great high five.
There you go. And you're going to London next week, which is the worst city in the world, I've been before. And what is your goals in London? Because I hope you can just come in and get the hell out before you get sucked in.
Well, London's not so bad.
Oh, it is. It's the worst city. I don't know why it's worse, because it's number 3 in the worst cities in the world, under LA, of course, first. Because you got too much traffic. The people there are terrible. And what are you up to there next week? Are you into?
So I'm going there to interview the cast of the new Spider-Man movie.
Okay, I'll let you off for that. But I mean, when you speak to them, tell them to move to Manchester next year, and then do it in Manchester for you. Instead of London. But
I'll let Tom Holland know that we should do it in Manchester next time.
Yes.
I thought we were supposed to say Manchester.
Manchester, yeah, Manchester. No. Yeah.
Oh, is that an American accent?
Yeah, like it.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I've been working on it for a long time. Manchester.
Yeah, me too. I've been working on my American accent. I had a Canadian accent before.
Yes, but now it's just gone normal. There's no accents. There's no accents. Just normal. And you had a while back on your show recently on your channel, wearing a nice suit and everything like that. Under his muscle. Very interesting conversation. I enjoyed that, and I treated two while back and yourself saying get ready for Friday, and here you are. And I even DM'd, because as I DM'd you on that Saturday, I actually DM'd Alicia, who you had on your show, okay, recently. I was quite surprised I was quite surprised to see, because I get notifications anytime you upload something. I actually get on my phone. Oh, new video, can't wait to watch this, kind of thing. So I was shocked to see her on your channel, and then hear about she's from the same hometown as you as well.
Yeah,
I
didn't even know that. Like, it's not like our hometown is that big. I think it's like 90,000 people. It's a suburb of Toronto.
Still quite big.
Yeah, it's a decent sized town, a small city, if you will. But it was crazy when she told me that she was from there, and we knew a lot of the same places. She turns out where she lives is 5 minutes from where I grew up.
Wow.
I was really surprised about that, and I'm glad that my interview with Alicia was able to introduce her to a new audience, my audience.
Yes.
She did an interview with me on her channel, and that introduced me to her audience.
Yeah.
So it was a great crossover. So I'm hoping to do a couple more of those.
Yeah, and the way she's done her interviews is that they're very short as well, not as long as yours. It's, I think, it may be good or bad, but I would have preferred to hear more things about you from Alicia, but obviously it might be to do at the time how long time you had.
Well, Alicia's interviews are 10-ish minutes, and that's what our interview was.
Yeah. She gets she's very direct. She gets to the question. She don't waste no time. Unlike, because I know you do as well. You get to the question as well. But I'm just saying, she gets in there and gets out before it gets too crazy.
And so she shoots for 10 minutes. I shoot for 30-ish now.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I'm starting to do longer and longer interviews is because I'm actually going to release a podcast in the next month or so.
Nice.
I'm basically taking the name of your show and just throwing my name. It's the Chris Van Vliet Show.
There we go.
And I get that, like, not everybody is going to spend the time to sit there on their phone or computer, wherever they watch YouTube videos, and actually watch a video for 20, 30, 40 minutes. So I'm going to take the audio from these YouTube videos, make it into a podcast with a different intro and a different outro to it. And now you can listen to it on your way to work. Now you can listen to it when you're in the gym. Mm-hmm. Or wherever you want me to be in your ear holes. I'll be there.
Exactly. And one thing about this show we don't do is we don't do intros, we don't do outros, we just get straight in. As soon as you press play, I'm right there, kind of thing. On Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other places as well. But so what is your ultimate goal then for the end of this year? You're on target to reach your original goal of your YouTube thing, and now your podcast you'll be launching as well. So I'm guessing that'll be one of your goals. Anything else you want to target to?
I mean, look at you. You've already nailed all my goals. So, it was 50 wrestling interviews. It was 200,000 subscribers, and now it's releasing the podcast. But I think we're going to hit 200,000 subscribers sooner. So I guess I need to make a new goal, maybe 250.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's a million subscribers is my goal by not sometime. Well, it was originally by January 2024, but I think that we can do it sooner than 4.5 years. So, a million subscribers, saying it now on the Ed Fowler Show. We're going to have that by January 1st, 2023. All because of you and because of everybody listening to this.
Yes, and now I want to know, when I actually contacted you, did you actually research me, or did you think, who is this random guy? What was your first instinct when you saw my DM?
Look, when I saw your DM, I was like, that's very bold of you. Thank you for asking. Thank you for reaching out. I appreciate that. Look, I love talking about wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan just like you. And there's no difference between me and anybody else. It's just I happen to interview a lot of wrestlers for my YouTube channel. So I clicked on your profile. I saw what you do. I saw that you have a following. And I said, let's do this thing. Now I'm just curious, because as I talk to you right now, this is unedited. You've got a green screen behind you, so I'm just curious what you're going to put back there.
Good question. Well, it'd be you. You'd be up behind me, and then I might have something else. I don't know yet. I'm not really decided, but you will definitely be on this green screen. But again, you can only find that only on YouTube.com, because that's only on YouTube only. Because people always say to me, you say the .com in like an American accent, so I don't know. So do you say .com in an American accent kind of thing? YouTube.com.
I don't know that anyone even says YouTube.com anymore. Like, isn't it just like no one goes, oh, I'm gonna go search for this on Google.com. Like, You just know that YouTube is a .com.
Yeah, only me. I am the person who says YouTube.com then. Okay, that's good to know. That's good for me.
I'll add you on Facebook.com. All right.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
This isn't 2003.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to www.facebook.com and add you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't do that long, but yeah. But there we go. The Fowler show here, only with Chris Van Vliet, the best one I think so far. But yeah, I did the same thing as I did with you. I took the bold decision. You know, I thought it worked with you, so I'd try it again. So I did try it again. I tried it with some guy from Lucha Underground. He did DM me back. And he's on board, like you were, but I'm still waiting for the DM to say when we can do it. So
that's great.
Yeah, and then I tried doing the same thing again with Alicia on the same day with you, but she did not respond. And then I actually watched your video about, you know, you put awkward DMs, and I was expecting she was going to say me in these awkward DMs, but I was quite surprised that she did not. But yeah, so I'm still waiting for a response from Alicia, but she's not DMing me back yet. Still waiting.
Well, I would say keep going for it.
Yes.
And the more guests you get, the more value it brings. You know, if you can say, hey, do you want to be on my show? I've also interviewed this person, this person, and this person. I think that new guests go, oh, well, if they've, you know, said okay, then sure, I'm willing to do it too. Like, I do that all the time now. I reach out to people and I say, hey, in the past 6 months, I've had John Cena and The Rock and Cody Rhodes and Tony Khan and. So, you know, would you do an interview with me? And usually it's like, yes, of course. So you mentioned Batista, but this weekend I also have the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger.
Oh, yes. Well, he doesn't go by that anymore. He goes by Sean Spears. You got to use his real name, no longer Ty Dillinger. Who is that?
Well, his actual real name is Ronnie, but
well, he goes by Sean now in AEW. Yeah. Oh, Elite. You got to be all in, man. You got to be all in.
Or am I all out? I don't know.
Imagine the pay-per-view. That'd be great. That'd be great for a pay-per-view. All out.
I've got him. I've also got the Blueprint Matt Morgan, who's the mayor of a town in Florida.
Nice.
This was crazy. He was the third person now to reach out to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
He DM'd me. Did Ryback reach out to you first?
No, I reached out to Ryback like 6-7 months ago, and he's just like, I'd love to do an interview, but I'm just so busy. I got to recover. He's having his stem cell research. He's like, we'll make it happen sometime this summer. And I'm like, I will fly to Vegas. We will do this interview. We will make it happen. And it turned out that I was there for All In. So
perfectly.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly. So Matt Morgan reached out to me and said, I loved your interview with TJP. I watch all your interviews, but that one was, you know, special. I said, well, what are we waiting for? Let's do this. And he's like, I'd be honored. So I'm doing that one with him on Sunday. So there's going to be a bunch. And I uploaded one today. I'm actually really proud of it. Very different from what I normally do.
That's right. Yeah, your advice ones with all the times you've done. Yeah, I like that.
Look at you. I literally just posted that.
Yeah, I started watching it because I checked my phone just to see, have I got a DM from you yet or something to say when you're ready? So I literally opened my phone and I saw your video which said advice, you know.
Yeah, life advice from pro wrestlers.
Yeah. So I started watching it, and I was liking them because some of them I watched, and then I seen which I've not seen yet, and I thought, oh, this is good. I
kind of selfishly did that for myself. Like there was so much great advice from all these different wrestlers over the years. I'm like, I got to put this in one place so that if I'm ever having a bad day or I just need to pick me up, I can just go to this video and be like, oh yeah, when John Cena said, control the controllable, or when Zach Gowen said, life's not about what happens to you, but how you react to what happens to you. Or The Rock said, sometimes the best things in life are the things that don't happen. And
was that before he did the finger? Because
it was right before that. Yes.
Before he went live. Because if you didn't say live to him, I'm sure he wouldn't have done that.
No, he would have been like, "Thanks, buddy. Good to see you." It would have been a very different interview.
Yeah, definitely. Well, then, my last question to you is, before we wrap this up, because I know you're a very busy man, as you just said, your interviews coming up. TJP, of course, I replied to TJP, not replied to him, just say, I tweeted him and you about his interview. Fantastic again, lovely, great interview, and I've heard a rumor on my phone this morning that he's going to Impact Wrestling, apparently. So that came on my phone this morning. So I don't know why I get I get Google News now just for wrestling, and I never actually typed in wrestling on my Google. So I get news about it every day.
They just know. Google knows everything.
Yeah, I know, it's scary, but I mean, I saw rumors saying he's going to go to Impact Wrestling, but he liked my tweet, so cause I said that I'm looking forward to having you on the show, so I was a bit concerned he might have thought he meant him, so I'm hoping he didn't mean that, because I might actually react to him now in case he said yes, so who knows.
It doesn't hurt to reach out to him. Why not?
Yeah, why not? But again, because the one thing I don't like doing is treating that to public in case other people might see it and think, ooh, what's going on here? You know, kind of thing. So yeah. But I might do that. You never know. See if he replies.
That's the thing.
Fun.
You don't know till you ask, right?
Yeah.
If you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think too many people go, oh, man, if I ask, he'll just think that I'm some small show, and he won't want to do it anyway. Well, if you don't ask, he's also not going to do it.
Yeah,
so
true.
You might as well just ask.
Yeah. Well, as you say on your YouTube channel, as I've heard as well, another podcast, you say that many people, get these people on just for themselves, and it's about promoting about them. So I'm hoping that you found this very useful for you. I'm hoping you've been able to promote what you wanted to promote. If not, you can do it right this minute.
No, this has been great, Ed. This has been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for informing me that London was the worst city in the world.
Yeah. Well, so is Winnipeg. So, yeah.
When I land in Heathrow, I'm going to be like, ugh, this place sucks. I love London, actually. I'm sorry.
Oh, you do? You actually love London? Okay, fair enough. But you have to agree, though, like, Winnipeg is, is disgusting, like, you want to go up in Winnipeg, apart from Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, but
Winnipeg just doesn't have a lot going on. It's a lovely Canadian city. It's just there's not a ton going on there.
Yeah. Are you glad that I don't know if you keep it with soccer or not, but Fulham FC that they're dropping down to the championship now after the worst season in the Premier League. So I wonder if Tony Khan knows about that or not.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Tony Khan knows about that, and he's very up on all the things that he has a vested interest in. So I'm sure Tony knows.
Yes. Well, you might want to remind him that because he might need to do some big changes to make him back into the Premier League to draw some more money for AEW. Otherwise, they might get a bit short of money.
When I posted my interview with him, I had so many Premier League fans and just football fans in general sending me these angry tweets about Tony Khan. I'm like,
why?
I guess they don't like how he handled the team.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
I don't know. And I'm like, I don't know. I want to talk about wrestling.
Yeah,
I don't know.
not Premier League. Yeah, understandable. But I want to know as well, because I don't think you've been asked this yet. Again, I could be wrong. Do you support American football?
Yes.
What's your favorite team?
Well, I lived in Cleveland for 5 years, so the Cleveland Browns are my team.
Boo. Oakland Raiders, assuming known as the Vegas Raiders.
Well, they're still the Oakland Raiders this year.
Yeah,
but the Cleveland Browns are going to be a force to be reckoned with this year.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to that game between Cleveland Browns and the Raiders if it ever happens. But of course, the Cleveland Browns are not good enough to come over here, are they? Because think about this: the Oakland Raiders.
No. Hold on.
The Rams are much better.
The Cleveland Browns are not good enough to go over there. No, like up until this year, no one cared about the Cleveland Browns except for like me, The Miz, and Dolph Ziggler, and everybody else.
Yeah, there was two people in Cleveland. Yeah, of course, not you, but me, Dolph and The Miz.
The Browns haven't had a winning season since 2007.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
If the Browns went to London, no one would show up.
No, exactly, because it'd be a washout. It'd be probably raining, probably.
Now, if the Browns went to London with, oh my God, Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. and Baker Mayfield and everybody else on the team, it's a team of superstars. They're going to win the division this year. They're winning the AFC.
Well, there you go. You've heard it as first. So, in February of next year, let's do this now. February next year, I don't care what date it is, I want you back on the show because I'm going to prove you wrong that Cleveland Browns will not be in any championship playoffs, okay?
Okay. All right. I will.
Is that deal?
I will virtually shake to that.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Are you a college football fan as well or not?
I'm not, and nothing against college football, but I went to college in Canada. And
of course.
College football is not that big of a thing there, so I don't have any sort of tie-in to any specific team. I love going to games because of the atmosphere, and the fans are hardcore. But I don't have a college football team.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But I will say my team is the Nevada Wolfpack. You want to know why?
The Nevada Wolfpack? That is
Yes.
the most random. Who picks the Nevada Wolfpack?
What have you this guy's laughing at that.
That's so obscure.
The reason why I picked the Nevada Wolfpack is because I actually have family on the west coast of America, the better part of America, the west coast, the best time zone for games anywhere in the world. So
best time for games? Who wants to watch a football game at 10 in the morning?
Well, maybe not that time, but I mean, in the evening, in the evening time, it's much better. But maybe not in the morning, but in the evening, it's better.
Whenever I travel to California and it's football season, it's like you wake up and then football's on immediately. Like, who wants to watch the NFL at 10 in the morning? It's so strange.
Well, I know many football fans in on the West Coast will wake up to watch football any day of the week, probably. I know my father would like to. He has to wait another 4 months before it comes back, so a long time to go yet. But no, I mean another 3 months, I'd say. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Nevada Wolfpack all the way.
Okay.
The other team in Portland, now I would support them as well, but they haven't got one, I don't think.
These are very strange teams, but if those are going to be your college teams, then that's okay.
Do you want to know my soccer team as well in America? For Major League Soccer, Portland Timbers. There you go.
Okay, Portland's a great city. I love Portland. I just don't know if their soccer team is. I don't know if that's you're making fun of the Browns for not being a winner. I don't know. I question your sports allegiances.
Well, I will say one thing: that the best football team in the world is Manchester United. Okay, Manchester United is the best. You got to agree.
Okay. I know that I at least have heard of them, unlike the Nevada Wolfpack.
Fair enough. Thank you for that, Chris. But yeah, you definitely need to come to Manchester to see the best city in the world and to see the best football club in the world, because Barcelona may be the richest now, but still the one which has still got the most trophies and the most fans around the world is United.
Well, I'm gonna put this on my bucket list to go see a football or soccer, whatever you want to call it, game in Manchester or Manchester.
Nice try for that.
Manchester.
Yeah, you need to work on your accent there. But
I do. Maybe next week.
But yeah, if you need a guided tour of the city, then let me know.
Thank you.
I would definitely do that because obviously someone needs to teach you a lesson because the interview you've done haven't done a good job, have they? You've come on the best heel podcast, and I hope I've been a great heel for you. But yeah. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, Chris, and I thought it'd be a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun as well. I see you're laughing a lot, so I'm guessing it was.
This was great. Yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to reach out to me, make this happen. This was fun.
Yeah,
well, let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, we must do. And I want to say as well, is this your first UK podcast you've been on?
I've done a few of them.
Yeah, I know you have.
This is certainly the most recent, though.
Yes. And out of the other ones you've done at the most recent, where would mine go in your list of the ones you've appeared on so far?
It's too soon, I'd have a recency bias to go. We're in the middle of it right now. We'd need to step away from it and be able to go, okay, I need to listen to it again.
Fair enough.
But I'm having a great time, and you can DM me, and we'll have this again. We'll do it again sometime. We'll make the next one even better than this one.
Probably, yeah. And maybe even in the next one we could maybe even meet up because listen up, people of the world. I do have a passport, so I have no desire to do anything at the moment, but I do have a passport. So if you need me, you know where to find me. And
if you go to SummerSlam, Survivor Series, All Out, or Fight for the Fallen, I will be there.
There you go. And that's great for you because you now just plugged where you're going to be. So, there you can see where Chris Van Vliet will be next. And make sure you keep up with him on social media. On Facebook, he's got over 50,000 likes. Make sure you just type in Chris Van Vliet. It pops up there. Twitter, Chris Van Vliet. He's got like 14.9k or maybe even 15k now. And, of course, youtube.com/Chris Van Vliet. So you can see I do it again. I've done it again. Chris.youtube.com.
It makes sense there, though. I think when you're given the address, it makes sense.
Do you like that? YouTube.com/Chris Van Vliet.
That was good.
Is it Chris Van Vliet at the end there? Is it? Yeah. Do you own the URL?
I own them all. Yeah.
That's good. That's good to hear. I'm glad you're a Clipper. That's good to know.
It's not a common name, you know.
No, it's not, and it's a unique name. And I like saying it. It's Chris Van Vliet. There you go.
I like that. Yeah. Or
yeah.
you know, if you don't want to say the full name, just call me CVV. That's okay.
Yeah. Or I just do this. Chris Van Vliet. There you go. Much better than Justin Roberts, probably. So there you go.
Ooh.
What do you think? What do you think about that Chris bit? You know,
Very good.
I can do it with Chris Jericho and Triple H. You know.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I might need some lessons from Justin Roberts there, but yeah, you know, the best.
He's one of the best to ever do it. He's one of the best to ever do it.
He is, and I don't know how he does that bit, but it's good. I like it anyway.
He's very good.
But yeah, he is, and you've got over 160k now, because I've been watching for the past few weeks, seeing how much you got now. I don't want to get one on my show, so yeah, I've been watching every single day.
Yeah, it's been growing a lot. Like
it has.
I remember sitting there at Double or Nothing, and I hit 150,000 at Double or Nothing.
I remember that. Yeah, and I thought, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so obviously we got a lot of stuff at Double or Nothing, which helped my channel grow. But
yes.
Yeah, here we are. It's 10, 12 days later, whatever it is, and we're 18,000 more. So it's
growing. It's growing, and it's growing rapidly.
Super grateful for that. Like, you know, I never thought this would ever be a thing, and it is.
It is, and I'm looking forward to your podcast as well. And maybe one day I can be a guest on your podcast.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
It only makes sense.
It does make sense, and I think you should only invite the best podcaster from the UK, from Manchester, to be on your podcast. Because then I can then you get me my truthful opinions about Manchester and about why I think this is the best city in the world than London or Miami or Las Vegas.
Or Toronto.
Yeah, or Toronto, yeah. It's not much like Toronto, and you got Manchester, Toronto, yeah. Yeah, not much to go off there. You can find myself on Twitter at _EdwardFowler_, so please do tweet me and let me know what you think about this podcast. And you need to follow me back on Twitter as well, and then you get notification when I DM you.
Sounds good. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, you should do.
Do that right now.
Great, look forward to that. Again, basically follow me on there as well. Because the one thing about this was, I'll tell you a true story here before I end this. I actually had 1,000 odd followers, and I thought, you know what? I don't even follow half these people. I don't know these people, you know, who I follow back. So I just thought, because what I was doing, and people follow me, I just follow them back, you know, why not? But then I thought, I got all these followers, but I don't really want to know what they're up to, so I decided to unfollow a lot of people, and that then cost me, and then I saw my follower list go way down, and now ever since I have been stuck on 838 for life. Like it will go up to 840, and then I lose 2, and then I just stay in there. I can't go any higher than 840. It's mad. It's high up for 6 months now. I can't move off it.
Maybe you make it your specific goal to get to 900 by the end of the year.
Yes. Because I used to do that, you know. I used to do my own goal. In high school, when I joined Twitter back in January of 2014, I said to everybody else, I'm going to get more followers than all you people on this bus combined. And then I used to set heights then to like 500 to 1,000. I used to put them on Twitter saying, help me to get to God knows how many, like 500 followers in a week, you know, kind of thing. And it happened, you know, and I need to do that again probably. But you said before as well about your goals, and I had a goal last year when I began this podcast last year, back in May 11th, 2018. I began this, and I said to myself, in a year's time, I would like to have a celebrity on the show. Just I don't know why. I just want to have a celebrity, like have a mixture on this show. Have some unknowns, have some big names, a mixture. Because then maybe one day, you never know, a big name might listen to this and think, who's this guy? Okay, I might check him out on YouTube, whatever. And it might help him to get a bit more known, you know? And that's what I want to do, kind of thing, you know? And you're the first one to do it. So thank you very much for agreeing.
All right.
My first celebrity. There you go.
I'm honored. Okay.
Yes,
well,
yes.
If I fall into the category of celebrity, I am happy to be that guy.
Yes, you are. And I hope in 5 years from now I can have a 1,000 episode and have you a part of it. There you go. If it's in 5 years, I don't know how long it would take me to get to 1,000 episodes, but probably a long time.
Great.
Well, that was the episode with Chris Van Vliet. So it's been 5 years. I wonder if I reach the 1,000 episodes or not. But will he see this? Will he listen to this? And maybe he will take me on the offer to come back on in 2024 to mark 5 years. I might try so. But until the next episode drops, which won't be very long, because if you're listening to this, if you head over to YouTube right now, you'll be able to see a brand new episode live from earlier tomorrow. Or you can listen to it right here on Tuesday. Until then, have a good rest of your day, night, evening, or morning.
You've been listening to The Edward Fowler Show. Subscribe and leave a rating on Apple Podcasts or follow on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts to get new and flashback episodes every week. More on Facebook and Instagram at Edward Fowler Show and edwardfowlershow.com.